Am I the butthole for causing my family to miss my brother's wedding? My wife and I just lost our second baby. Our first was a stillbirth. Our daughter lived for only a month due to a medical condition. We didn't get to take her home. But we have a few pictures of her before she passed away 3-weeks ago. It's difficult trying to get used to living like that, but we have no choice. My wife and I missed out on some family events, including my brother's wedding. Everyone was being considerate and gave us enough space to regain strength. I work long hours and night shifts while my wife stays at home. I was on shift the day of my brother's wedding. A few days ago, my mom and my sister were complaining about my brother's fiancé no-child rule, and they wanted someone to watch the kids for a few hours. My sister suggested that we do that, but I told her I had work and my wife wasn't up to it. And I really thought that was the end of discussion. On the day of the wedding, I left home for work at 3. I got a call from my wife at 5. Telling me my cousin just came and dropped 6 kids from my family at our house and told her that he'd come back to pick them up later. I was effing livid. I went home and I started calling my sister, cousin, and sister-in-law to come pick their kids right then. They kept stalling, but I demanded. They tell my cousin to turn around and come pick the kids up. Instead, they started showing up one by one, taking their kids, cussing me out, claiming I was overreacting since my wife didn't say anything. My wife doesn't know how to say no, so it's on me to set boundaries, although it's hard with them calling me the problem. My parents said I caused the family to miss most of my brother's wedding by looking for someone else to watch the kids, and basically blamed me for refusing to take the kids for just a few hours. Saying I don't understand because I don't have kids, I don't know how hard it is. That line cut too deep. I've already had 2 kids that I lost. Everyone's arguing with me for causing them this issue on the wedding and said I ruined it instead of doing this one little favor. I sent a mass text telling them they can start blaming each other instead of us. After I told them we couldn't watch the kids. Now they won't even want to see me. Was I the butthole for I did? Holy crap, not the butthole. I don't understand how you would possibly think you are. You clearly told them no. They smashed your boundaries, refused to listen, and dumped their kids. When you rightfully insisted they to come get them, they started doubling down and throwing barbed statements. Your family is undoubtedly selfish, petty, and terrible. Don't feel bad for what you did. Just because their blood doesn't mean they aren't capable of being awful. This. 1000%, this. Was typing a similar reply, but there's no need to. Also, I am so sorry for you and your wife's losses, heart, persevering face. It never fails to blow my mind just how awful some people can be. This would be no contact territory for me. Especially after a fresh and horribly painful loss. My heart goes out to you and your wife, original poster. Totally agree. They didn't go to the wedding because they were in the very early stages of grief. How does that qualify them to be the designated babysitter? And 6 kids. What were those parents thinking? Even if you only cared about your kids' well-being, you wouldn't do that. The truly horrible thing about this is Op's family planned this ambush. They made the phone call, heard the answer, and thought to themselves, if we show up with 6 kids, there is no way she can say no. I am very upset for original poster. Me too. I hope they have people in their life who are giving them love and support. I'm hoping that original poster is only posting here so he can show the comments to those with the damned audacity to think any of this is okay. I mean, it's very much something I do. I think that's what made me the maddest. Way to exploit a woman who has recently suffered a devastating loss by showing up with something to remind her painfully of her loss. They knew she was not in a state to put up a fight. And she was only 4 weeks postpartum. How was she supposed to chase down all those kids? Not the butthole. This is so true. She was in no state to say no. 3 weeks after losing your child, you are still in the just existing stage of grief. You can barely function, let alone look after 6 kids. I have a feeling they're well aware of the wife's inability to say no and took advantage. And it's not like the relatives has a last-minute emergency and needed babysitting. It was a wedding. Those invitations go out months in advance. I am guessing that the relatives are cheap ass and didn't want to pay a sitter, and they were going to take advantage of Op's situation. Exactly. Maybe they were doing something dodgy COVID-wise. I have a feeling they were punishing her. Right? Hey, we understand that you don't want to go to a wedding, aka a party where you're more likely to have a good/relaxing time, because of the recent tragedy. How about watching 6 kids instead so we have a fun stress-free party? The family should pull their heads out of their asses for once and think about others once in a while. Saying I don't understand because I don't have kids, I don't know how hard it is. This behavior is NC territory period. And to think they called around on the time of the wedding and found sitters. Clearly, they didn't care about Ops and wife's feelings in any way. Horrible people. Not the butthole also. Ops' wife gave birth around 2 months ago and they dumped 6 children on her. Even if they weren't still grieving their loss, this would have been such a butthole move. You aren't up to watch after so many children after such a short time. I bet that was also a reason original poster said no from the beginning. The family really sucks. It puzzles me too. How do they get from this person has had the tragic loss of a child to they be the perfect person to babysit? Like even shelving original poster and wife aside and just thinking of the kids for a moment, why would you leave them with a grieving relative? Like they aren't going to have fun and it'll probably be uncomfortable, and is that how you want your kids to remember the wife? Exactly. The kids will likely end up thinking she hates them because she was so upset. 100%, this. Not the butthole. Sorry original poster, your family is god tier level garbage. Let's bombard 2 grieving parents mere weeks after they lost their child with 6 kids so we can party at a wedding? Oh hell no. I would have said some pretty choice wordy things that would have gotten me a harassment lawsuit. You don't do this. Especially to 2 people who have had both of their children pass. And to say something like you don't have kids, so how could you know our struggle? Is absolutely disgusting. They knew what you and your wife have been through, and to throw that in your face? Oh hell no. I would have cut them off so fast, they would split in 2. This. Came here to say just this. I wish I had an award to give you. Hit the nail right on the head. I'm so sorry for both your losses. I hope you and your wife find peace and happiness ahead. And your family doesn't deserve to be called family or be in your life after this. Absolutely disgusting and shameless people. Not the butthole. Yeah, I would have gone with a full-on Santana Lopez smack to the face after that line. My jaw literally dropped when I read it. Yeah, I said the same to original poster directly, but if someone said that to me, I would have physically attacked them. My God. I can't believe that they actually thought there was nothing wrong with saying that to grieving parents that just lost their child. You're better off without them in your life. Original poster. Not one person thought to go, oh hey, maybe don't saddle the woman that just lost her 2nd child with 6 brats to look after on her own. Entire family is full of butthole. They all probably thought, she won't mind. This could be her chance, which is arrogant. I'd like to add, a wedding they were invited to as well, and probably only didn't attend due to their loss. I'm about 99% sure that's the sole reason they didn't attend. Exactly. So not only that they disrespected their loss, they even tried to take advantage of it. This is getting more and more disgusting the more you think about it. For sure, cut them off. This family is toxic and you and your wife deserve so much better. Leave them behind. I wish you so much happiness in your futures together. Not a lawyer, but would a lawsuit even hold in this case? Emotional distress, etc. Not the butthole. You are still a father, your children just aren't here with you on this plane of existence. Your family shouldn't rely on you to take their kids when you've said your wife isn't up to it, which is totally understandable all things considered, and you had been working. It was absolutely inappropriate of them to think you would even want to take their kids. As for your family, you are not a babysitting service. You are grieving the loss of a child, a hurt that will never truly go away. It is a pain they won't feel unless it happens to them, and a pin I know you wouldn't wish on them. They do not understand that things like this can be harmful to you and your very obviously grieving wife. They are TA, not you or your wife. Thanks for responding, and you're right about what you said here. The lack of respect and consideration they have for me and my wife is awful. They have no regard for us and keep trying to blame me for what happened. I'm so sorry about the loss of your children. It is a horrendous thing to go through. No one should ever have to suffer what you and your wife are going through, And your family is not making anything better. My heart aches for original poster and his wife. Such immense losses. For someone to tell a parent grieving the loss of a child you're not a parent is monstrous. To tell your own family member that is unforgivable. If a couple of them volunteered to babysit, the rest could go, so they are totally to blame. Seriously. Even if you're enough of a butthole to claim that a stillborn child doesn't make you a parent, it effing does. Period. They had another child who passed away at a month old. That 100% equals parent. Good on you for protecting your wife. You don't need these people in your life. No good can come of it. Exactly. If original poster needs an adopted auntie, I'm right here. I'm sure a bunch of other folks would adopt them, too. Hubby and I will adopt him as a cousin. I'm so sorry for your loss. I can't begin to imagine the pain you're going through. I also cannot begin to imagine how your family thought it would be okay to just show up and dump 6 children off unannounced to be watched by your wife, who is still grieving. And even if she wasn't in mourning, that 6-to-1 ratio with no preparation is unreasonable and frankly unsafe for the children. If I were you, I would consider going low to no contact with these family members until they can acknowledge how they were at fault and how their actions were harmful and hurtful. Lay it out for them in written form. Snail mail may be best. Screw the whole family. First blood is thicker than water BS. You and your wife are in pain. You do not need to be burdened by selfish, unsympathetic leeches. Text them all and clearly state they are selfish and horrible people for dumping 6 kids on a grieving mother, who only lost her child a few weeks ago. Tell them you are disgusted by their behavior and ongoing harassment, and will be blocking them all for the foreseeable future. Do so immediately, ignore all attempts at contact, and block all numbers they use. Simply hang up if they call from an unknown number. Block them all. Refuse to listen to any of their pathetic entitled nonsense, and take care of yourselves. She wasn't well enough to go to the wedding. Why on earth would they think she was well enough to care for 6 kids? Not the butthole. There's no question they shouldn't have done that. On top of which, even without you having lost your second child, who thinks one person can take care of 6 kids anyway? They're truly awful, and you know that they showed up because they knew you wouldn't be there and your wife would find it difficult to say no. So double the buttholes. I'd love to know what your brother has to say about all of this. By the way, not the butthole, but your family sucks so much. My sincerest thoughts go to your wife and you. Sorry for your loss. The worst possible thing happened and they couldn't give her a moment to breathe. What a sociopathic thing to do. Cut them off. Love is respect. It's time to cut these selfish, inconsiderate people out of your life. I'm so sorry for your losses. Not the butthole. And the fact they said you wouldn't understand until you have your own was disgusting and hurtful. Even under much better circumstances, most people would be struggling with trying to wrangle 6 kids. No matter how you slice it, they are massive jerks. Not the butthole, but your family is effing full of them. My God. Sending my deepest condolences to you and your wife. Exactly, not the butthole. They ruined their wedding experience by not booking a babysitter for their kids when they knew you could not watch them. They have no one to blame but themselves for being idiotic. Exactly. My wedding, we had kids at, but we knew they might get tired/bored. We hired a sitter, had a tub of toys, and arranged use of a smaller room right off the reception area for them. Parents could take them in and out as needed. The only people at fault are your family. Even if you hadn't set the boundary, who in their right mind thinks they just lost a second child lets have them babysit our very much alive and healthy children? I am so sorry for your losses and for your thoughtless and self-centered. Feel free to mentally insert other descriptor words that would probably get me a warning or banned. Family's actions and acquisitions. They need not look further than a mirror to see who is at fault. I wish you and your wife well as you grieve and begin to adjust to this new normal. Clearly not the butthole. Edit, spelling mistake and added words for clearer thought. Especially 6 of them. I don't think a babysitter would agree to watch 6 kids without backup. Not the butthole, original poster. That line about not being a parent must have hurt badly. You and your wife are parents. Depending on ages, 6 is right around the line of not legal. Slightly off topic, but I think as a teenager the most kids I watched solo was right around 8 or 9, multiple families who were all friends, from ages 2 to like 10 or 11. I really could have used a Valium salt lick for everyone, and I was incredibly energetic, well prepared, and not grieving a horrific loss. Yeah, dropping any amount of kids on someone is a butthole move. But 6? Most people are not prepared to babysit 6 kids without warning. Not the butthole. Your family is ridiculous. We hired sitters at my wedding too, and the kids got a special meal which was served first. It's easy enough to do. I had kids at my wedding too. They had a good time and no behavioral issues. I had a cousin who wanted an adults-only wedding. Out of the 150 she invited, only 40 people RSVP'd and showed. The reason? We all had kids and our babysitters wanted to go to the wedding. We didn't begrudge her, we just couldn't go. Children were allowed at her wedding shower and she had more people there than at her wedding. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.